Today we're going to talk about WWE 2K25.
Come on!
We have a little bit of news to share with you guys. We're going to deep dive some of these topics, what we know and what we could expect from next year's game. The first bit of news has to do with a TNA star that has come over in NXT this year. We've seen a massive crossover of TNA and NXT joining forces. I'm still wondering what this is going to mean in the future of WWE, TNA, more crossover, what the plan kind of is. Maybe WWE is just going to buy TNA. I don't know. But what I do know is that Jordynne Grace has made a large impact, no pun intended. See what I'm doing today? No pun intended. But Jordynne Grace has been featured all over NXT, has done a wonderful job crossing over, and has felt like such a main roster superstar in WWE. And with that, we did find out through Fightful that Jordynne Grace has actually been doing motion capture work for WWE 2K25.
Because I'm doing motion capture Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for the My Rise video game. I played JC Jane and Chelsea Green.
Now, this does not necessarily mean that Jordynne Grace is going to be in WWE 2K25. Maybe she will. We can only speculate right now. I would love it. I would love it if they were going to do something like this. She's been featured enough in NXT, and WWE is really pushing for that. We probably will see her on WWE television a lot more, especially I feel like with the CW deal all done and NXT moving over there, they're going to want to make a big splash. And I think we could see a lot more of this. But when somebody like Jordynne Grace is doing motion capture, that doesn't necessarily mean that they are going to be in the game that they're motion capturing for themselves. A lot of other superstars, a lot of other wrestlers over the years have done motion capture work for WWE 2K games. It's not unheard of. LA Knight, as an example, even said in interviews that he had done motion capture for the WWE 2K games when he wasn't even part of the company. So it's not a crazy thing, but it does give me a lot of hope. It gives me hope that we could see more crossover if WWE does a little bit more of this, or if it's only Jordynne Grace. I still think it's a wonderful step in the right direction. Maybe WWE would allow to open that window up a little bit. They have featured her so much on NXT TV. It makes a lot of sense. It would sell like hotcakes, and you know that 2K would turn around and be like, hey, she's going to be like an outsider DLC for 2K25. If that partnership continues with WWE and TNA, and ultimately it's WWE's call who they want in their video game, who do they want to market towards. She's not an official WWE superstar. It's a very interesting situation. Comment below, what did you guys think of this, Jordynne Grace being in WWE? Do you think that they would do this? Do you think they would make her DLC for 2K25? Personally hope so, crossing my fingers. And with NXT and even DLC conversations here for next year's game, there's a lot of NXT talent that I think should and likely would make next year's roster. And knowing 2K, they would probably lean towards putting a lot of these wrestlers as DLC. We saw it with 2K23, not as much with WWE 2K24 this year. We've seen a lot of mixing it up with legends and current talent being used as DLC. In 23, it was very NXT heavy. So I think it's really going to depend on what WWE wants to do. But some of the wrestlers that we could end up seeing in next year's game, and probably should, are going to be the likes of Obafemi, who I really hope just makes it into the base game. Ethan Page, who has just signed on with WWE, coming over from AEW. I don't know if Ethan Page would make the cut. Now is the time for them to get the rosters shaping up, find out from WWE who they want in there. And if Ethan Page just signed, it might be too late to get him into the game, or if WWE wants to pull the trigger on that. I hope they do. But it makes me think of 2K24 when Lexis King, who is somebody else on this list, should be in 2K25 for sure at this point. They have been on NXT television for the last year and a bit. Definitely time for them to be in the video game. But I can see with kind of the cutoff dates and such, they maybe not want to put Ethan Page in there. I don't know. Other wrestlers that I hope they do put in the game coming from NXT: Shawn Spears. Love to see Perfect 10 back in there. The brand new Women's North American Championship, meaning I want that Women's North American title in the game, and don't tell me to go to Creation Suite and just create it the North American title with the white strap. No, I don't want that. I want official stuff, ladies and gentlemen. And Sol Ruca is another name. There are many more in NXT that I know we want. Give me the list, guys, in the comments what you think. But Sol Ruca is somebody else because we have seen her gear in in 2K24 popped up in there. I'm holding out hope that maybe we'll get surprise DLC bonuses, because that Pat McAfee pack is not something that Matt is very interested in. I want regular wrestlers in my video game. But Sol Ruka is somebody you definitely want to see in next year's game as well. Now, we're talking a lot about 2K25, and as we should, because 2K themselves, Take-Two Interactive, has confirmed that WWE 2K25 is currently underway in development. They've confirmed the release window, and it's looking to be fiscal 2025, right around the early April mark, which lines up with WrestleMania 41. We don't know yet, just like every single year, we do not know what consoles it's going to be on, what platforms it's going to be on. But I did want to deep dive this a little bit, because it's an interesting bit of statistics in here of last gen, current gen, and how long these games have been going out on last gen. Personally here, just for me, I've got the PC, I got the Xbox, and I got the PlayStation 5. So I'm all good personally with just running the game on next gen only. But there are a lot of PlayStation 4 users alone that are out there in the wild, and there's a lot of companies still making games for last gen for PS4 and Xbox One. But I do feel that this is really holding the game back, like a lot. It's been a long time since PlayStation 4 came out. We are coming up to, like, what is it, 11, 12 years of the PlayStation 4 being released in November of 2013. It's a long time to be running on last gen. PS5 came out in November of 2020. So it hasn't been that long, but I do think that it is time for 2K25. It would make a big splash in my eyes that you would put 2K25 on the PlayStation 5 and the Series X, and the new one that Xbox announced, the new terabyte one version of the X. 2K does this every single year though. When we see that it's been, announced for the next year's game, it's always TBD for when the game will be released or when the consoles will be showcased. It comes up very, very late into the year where we find out when and which platforms it will be on. You could also just get it on PC and you'd be all fine and dandy. And we also know that pandemic, that also shuffled game development around quite a bit too and pushed things back, but we're now fully on track, I suspect, for the last 3 years. I don't know if 2K will pull the trigger on this, because the thing is, we don't get the statistics in terms of the sales numbers, the revenue sold, how many units sold on PlayStation 4, for example, versus that of PS5, the install bases across both. For any of the 2K games, we don't have that information. So I am very curious to wonder and know how many users are still on PlayStation 4. Just anecdotally, whenever I see comments, a lot of people are still on PlayStation 4. Consoles are very expensive, so I understand that people are not jumping over to get the next version of the game, but I do feel that it holds the franchise back, whether it's going to be any of the 2K games, but like NBA 2K, WWE, even Topspin just came out and it was on the last gen consoles. We don't know if NBA 2K25 is also going to be on next gen or not, and I say that because it would give me a little bit of an indicator if 2K was going to finally go in that direction. I personally think that they will hold back. I still think that they will keep it on PlayStation 4, Xbox One for another year. I don't think they should. I think they should take advantage of more updated, up-to-date hardware, but I think the install base is still massive. I just don't want them to do this because I feel like it holds the game back and what they're able to do. I am not a game developer, but I got to imagine you're running on old architecture. It makes it harder to make a new game, something fresh, something newer, with implementing new features, updated graphics, updated gameplay, having more wiggle room to play with in terms of the game's development or not. I would love it to be on PlayStation 5, Series X, and PC for 2K25, but I still see it happening for last gen. Next year's DLC could be very interesting with the likes of Jordynne Grace potentially showing up in the game. We talked a lot about NXT here. Another thing is with match types. I think that it's very possible we see things like the I Quit match make a return since it has been featured in WWE TV. I think it is possible, it's a chance, slim chance, we could see the Iron Survivor match make it into 2K25. There is a slim chance. These games are on like an 8-month development cycle. It's very, very small. So in my eyes, that is a mode and a match type that I think 2K would have to be developing for a couple of years now. We got War Games. They worked a long time on that, according to the devs, to be able to get War Games to work and get it into the game. And I think Iron Survivor, since it has been on NXT TV several years now in a row, I think it's a staple of NXT. We definitely want to see it in there. And hopefully, if they were doing it, they would have been working on it in the background for the last few years, but you never know. The last thing I'll say though on match types for 2K25, I hope this is more of a fix wish list item, but I hope that they are going to include King of the Ring proper back in the game. It's been many years since we've had King of the Ring working as a full mode and putting it specifically into universe mode as its own PLE, because we've had King of the Ring now on its own many years on WWE TV. It's time to get it right. What else do you want to see for 2K25 though? Let me know in the comments below, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and if you want to talk more WWE 2K24 25 stuff, click this video right here. We got a lot more to talk about. Have a great day. See ya.